The ABCDE Strategy, a metacognitive approach to multiple choice questions. Attaining critical thinking skills is a primary goal at Park Place Community Middle School. Thinking critically is a key part of having the competitive edge. The strategy we're practicing today is called the ABCDE Strategy. This strategy makes you look at the text carefully, analytically, and has you engage in metacognition, or thinking about thinking. So soon you will be reading a text, but after you're done reading the text, I'm going to model out the strategy for you. Next, we'll try the strategy together. So first I'll try, then we'll try together, and then finally you're going to start the strategy and try it out on your own. So to get started, take out the article entitled "Study Suggests Video Games Can Help Mental Health." And literally right now, you're going to pause this video until everyone has their text out. So check it out. Here is the text. So everyone should have their text out now, and it looks like this. Let's read the directions. So read and annotate the text, and you could do that by, you can highlight something, and you go insert, and you go comment. There's also key commands if you want, and you can go comment here, and you can say whatever you want. Hello. And you can see it right here on the side. Let's just look at the directions here. Read and annotate the text for 7 minutes. If you finish early, think to yourself, and you can jot notes if you want, or you can just think to yourself of how this article relates to middle school students. Be able to speak to this topic. That's if you finish early. Start a 7-minute timer now. Next, you're going to pause this video and let the timer run for the 7 minutes. And when the timer is up, press play. In that 7 minutes, the students will be reading and annotating the text. Okay, the 7 minutes is up, so press play now and we'll get started. When the 7 minutes is up, and I want you to watch me as I model for you. So first, let's just look at the strategy, the alphabet strategy, or the ABCDE strategy. So it's a mnemonic device that you're looking here, and this device will help you remember the strategy because it's easy to remember, ABCDE. But each of the letters stands for something. So check it out. A stands for analyze or annotate the question. B stands for going back in the text, because sometimes you have to do that after you see the question. Connotation. Is it generally a feeling of negativity, or negative, or positive? Next, you'll develop a hypothesis, and then finally you'll do the process of elimination. If that was too fast for you, don't worry, we'll go over it again. So A, B, C, D, E. Each letter stands for something. So note you already read and annotated the text. And here's your next step. Next, take the quiz at the bottom using the ABCDE strategy for each question. Note, each box in the table is worth 2 points. You get 1 point for trying, and 1 if your thinking makes sense. So what does this all mean? Let's look at this specifically. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. I already read the text, and you can see I annotated each part, right? And you can see that on the side here. So for each chunk, I highlighted and I added some comments or annotations. Let's try the strategy out here. So watch me as I model for you. So I'm going to do the ABCDE strategy. So let's look at A. Which question, analyze and annotate the question. So here's the question. And I'm going to ask myself in red, read the red writing here, in your own words, what is the question really asking? So it says here, which question is answered in the introduction, paragraphs 1 through 3. So what's being asked? So is being answered with what question is being answered with the information from in paragraphs 1 through 3, right? So there's information in the first 3 paragraphs. What question is being answered? So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to B. I'm going to go, this is asking me to go back in the text. So I'm going to say, what part of the text must you go back to? Well, this one, in this case, they actually just tell you exactly where to go, paragraphs 1 through 3. So this one is simple in this part because it tells you exactly where to look. But sometimes it's not that easy. You have to use your annotations to figure out what part to go back to. So paragraphs 1 through 3. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask myself, what question is being answered with the information? So what question is being answered? So what's it mostly about in the first 3 paragraphs? So let's look. So I'm going to go back and just read it really quickly. Oxford University is in England. Da da da. Scientists at Oxford have done a study. Okay, so it's about a study, and I look at my annotation. Video games harm or help our mental health. So it's a study. Does video games help our health? Scientists needed 2 kinds of information. First, they needed the time that people played the video games, and second, they needed to know how they felt. So time and felt. So a study was done, and they were trying to see how it made them feel. And then finally, it says more than 3,000 video game players were in the study. Some played the game Plants vs. Zombies. The others played Animal Crossing. So this is the conditions of the study. Conditions of the study. 3,000 game players. Okay, so let's look here. So let's go back. We went back to the text. So connotation. When people are writing, there's like a negative connotation or a positive connotation. So what feeling do you get from the context clues, negative, positive, or neutral? Well, this is a scientific study. And science is trying to progress, the human condition. So I'm going to say either positive, maybe a little neutral, but I'll say more on the positive side. And then the next part, A, B, C, D. So D is develop. D is develop a hypothesis. So without looking at the choices, because this is multiple choice, what do you think the answer is? So again, let's look at the question. What question is being answered with the information from paragraphs 1 through 3? So I would say that it's basically a study was done. So without looking, so what? Let's look at it again. What question is being answered? So I have to. This has to be a question. Um, what did the study look for? What was being looked for in the study? What were they looking for in the study? And we know the answer is has to do with video games and mental health, right? And we can do vids. We can write in note form because this is just scratch notes. Okay, so we did A, B, C, D. Now let's do E, which is process of elimination right here. So elimination, go through 100% of the options, and for each ask this. An option, is this option a throwaway, as in this is totally wrong, this is garbage, just cross it out? Is it a distractor, which is, well, this one's pretty close. If it's either a distractor or throwaway, you're going to cross it out. It's a process of elimination, thus narrowing it down to the best answer, and that's what we're looking for. So now finally, let's look at the options. So my hypothesis, now let's think about this. My hypothesis is, what were they looking for in the study? What were they looking for in the study? So that's what I think it will be. So let's look here. How many hours did people spend playing the games? How many hours did they spend playing the games? I saw 3,000, but that's not hours, that's the amount of players. So I'm just going to cross that one out. Let's look here. Okay, so I'm going to cross this one out. Command Shift X. You can cross it out. What did the Oxford scientists want to find out? Ooh, that's kind of similar to what I had. What were they looking for in the study? Okay, so I'm going to skip that one for now. Maybe that's it. But am I done? No, because I want to make sure that I look at all of the options because there still might be a better one. C. How did the Oxford scientists pick which games to study? Well, they talked about Animal Crossing and the Zombies game, but they didn't even mention how. They just said what they were, not how. So this one I think is a throwaway. So I'm just going to cross it out. And then finally, what game systems did people use in the study? What game systems? Quite frankly, that wasn't mentioned at all. They didn't mention, whatever game system. That wasn't in there. So I'm going to cross that out. So the best answer, based on using my strategy, I annotated the question and I narrowed it down to what I thought they were really asking. I went back in the text and reread it, and you saw I went back to the text a number of times, a few times, because that's what you have to do. The connotation wasn't so helpful here, but sometimes this is really helpful. So that is a strategy. This helps in the strategy. Sometimes it helps a lot. In this case, not so much, but that's okay. I did develop a hypothesis. What were they looking for in the study? And actually, that was pretty darn close to what did the Oxford scientists want to find out. And then process of elimination. Um, I eliminated um, throwaways and distractors, which there were. It was pretty clear. Now, okay, so that's it. What did I do? A, B, C, D, E. I used each of these letters to help me analyze and figure out the best answer. So that was your model. Now you're going to try it on your own. You're going to try it on your own. And you're going to do the same strategy, but you're going to do it with question number 2. It's written right in there for you, and we're going to try it this way. So you're going to go through the process, try to fill in each of the boxes. If you try, you get 1 point. And if it's pretty accurate, you'll get 2 points. And then there'll be an opportunity to go over it afterwards. So that's the ABCDE strategy.